So this is the internal standard. This is not your typical podcast. I wouldn't even consider this a podcast. It's more of a talk. It's short, it's real, it's straight to the point. It's built off experiences and lessons, from being homeless to helpful, heartache to healing, from being inconsistent to adding structure. And today, I want to talk specifically about something that everyone faces. Every single person, not just professionals or athletes, but everyone. And it's why you keep breaking promises to yourself. So let me start off by saying this, and let this be clear, is that we don't need more motivation. Motivation is not the problem. It's a trust problem, problem with ourselves. When we say, I'm waking up early tomorrow, or I'm going to start working out next day, or I'm done with that situation, or I'm locking in on my purpose, and then we ultimately don't even do it. And the scary part is this. We've done it so many times that now we start to say something to ourselves and you don't even believe it. That's super dangerous, because when you lose trust with yourself, you actually lose direction. But check this. Let's go a little bit deeper. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you don't just lose progress, you lose identity. Because your brain is always watching, it's always recording. It starts to build this file in your brain that says this person doesn't follow through. So now you start to hesitate. You become a little bit more doubtful. You second guess your decisions. And not because you're incapable, but it's because you've trained yourself, your brain, to not trust you. So in my personal experiences in my life, there was a point in time where I had no structure. No consistency, no real systems. I had goals though. I had ambition, but I didn't have discipline. I would tell myself all the time, I'm about to change. I'm about to go lock in. I'm about to level up, but nothing really changed. And the question was why? Why didn't it change? It didn't change for this specific reason, because my life was built off feelings and not standards, and feelings don't last. So when I didn't feel like it, I didn't do it. And I had to be real with myself. I wasn't failing because I lacked the ability. I was failing because I lacked proper structure. And more importantly, my word to myself didn't mean a thing. And that is simply when everything shifted for me. Not when I got more motivated, because again, it's just like the weather. It changes. It's emotional. It's about feelings. It's not when life got easier, but it's when I ultimately made a decision. And I want to give you guys 4 specific points on why you keep doing this. And number 1, it leads me into this first point, which is stop negotiating with yourself. So let's be clear again. This is an area where most people lose. You don't need more motivation or inspiration. You can go on Instagram all day to read that or to listen to it. You need fewer negotiations. Every day you say things like, I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. I'm just tired today. I deserve a break. Now let's get that clear again. That's a negotiation. And every time you win that negotiation, you lose a little bit of more progress and you lose a little bit more of identity. Because now your standard is flexible, and anything flexible breaks under pressure. I'm going to repeat that. I can't find anything right now, but anything that's flexible will ultimately break under pressure. Your word has to become law, not suggestion, not preference, not if I feel like it, but law. L-A-W. This leads me to point number 2, and that is, you built distrust. Now you have to rebuild it. Let's be honest. We did not build, or you didn't lose trust with yourself overnight. It was built over time. You built it through tons of different things, through inconsistency, through shortcuts, through saying one thing and doing another. So now the question is this. How do you rebuild it? How do we rebuild this? And this is ultimately not by doing something big or extravagant. It's by doing something that's consistent. The way to do it, start small. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you started. Keep one promise a day, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Because confidence is not built by winning. Okay? It's built by keeping your word to yourself every single day. And once your mind starts to see this, it starts to rebuild that file cabinet we talked about earlier. Now you're rebuilding identity. Again, your brain is recording all these things, so you're going to start to rebuild these essentials in order to keep those promises to yourself and later on become successful. Let's go to point 3. Feelings will always betray you, so don't trust those feelings. You feel a certain way at a particular point in time. So this is the truth that nobody really wants to hear. You are not inconsistent because you're lazy. You're inconsistent because you're emotional. You operate based on how you feel. And again, feelings change often and quite often. You feel motivated one day, you feel tired the next, you feel inspired one moment, you feel distracted the next. So your life becomes a cycle. It's a cycle of up, down, start, stop, left, right. And the cycle goes on and on and on. And when you get to that point in things where that becomes that cycle, that's not discipline. And it's not called discipline per se. It's ultimately called, we say, reaction. If your life is controlled by feelings, how you feel in the moment, your life will always be unstable, again, because it changes like the weather. That's why you need a standard, because a standard does not change. So let's go into the 4th point. And again, this is ultimately what these points are leading us to, which is the internal standard. This is what separates people. External people say something like this: I'll do it if. Internal standard people say something like this: I do it because that's who I am. That's completely different. That changes the complete ball game, right? That means you show up tired, you show up stressed, you show up when nobody's watching, because your behavior is not based on emotion or feeling. It's based on identity. And this is something that we've been trying to build up this whole time, is you want to create that file cabinet to where you are keeping your promises and you are ultimately building that identity that you are not changed or you are not shifted by emotions or feelings. That's an internal standard. Let me ask you something real. And I want to ask the question, can I be real? Can you trust yourself? Not talent, not your potential, not your intentions. Can you trust yourself, and can you trust your execution? Because your life will change the moment you answer this specific question as a yes. And not occasionally or sometimes, not when it's convenient, but consistently. Can you trust yourself to consistently change and to be consistent? So you don't need more motivation. I've said this multiple times already. You don't. You don't need another video, another Instagram carousel. You don't need another plan. You need to become someone whose word means something. Simple. Just remember the internal standard. Your life changes when your word to yourself becomes law. And that is the internal standard.